Welcome to a new anime review series. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime Review Part 1. This is going to be part 1 of a 5-part review series where I'm reviewing each of the first 5 parts. So I'm reviewing each of the 5 seasons. And the last part we'll be talking about the 3 films and my final thoughts overall on the series. Why am I doing a review series of Yu-Gi-Oh? Because I love the series and the fact that I've watched the series many times. So I have a pretty good memory of the series overall, and plus I was watching the series while it was coming, unlike the other ones where I wasn't. These basically I did. Now the first season, let's talk about the first season, which is 40 episodes. Now there is roughly 4 arcs in this whole season. You have Duelist Kingdom, which takes up around the first 40 episodes. The second one is Wrath of Rebecca, which takes up episodes 40 and 42. The third one is the Virtual Reality arc, which is one of my favorite arcs of the whole series because it's really interesting. That's a 3-parter. That takes episodes 43 to 45, and the last arc is the dual Dungeon Dice Monsters arc, which does have a bit of a fall off for the character introduced in this arc. Comes back in next season. But first up is Duelist Kingdom, starting off with the pilot episode. Relatively, it shows up basically the 4 main characters: Yugi, Joey, Tristan, and Taya, and throughout the whole series, all the viewers know about this. Taya has a thing for Yugi. Yep, Taya has a thing for Yugi. And this is heavily hinted at throughout the whole series. And she gets jealous whenever there's about 3 other women in the whole series who actually develop an attraction to him. One, of course, is and those 3 women are Rebecca, who basically, I'll talk about her more later on, and it's quite bizarre. Mai, though she gets over it easily, and Vivian in the final season, basically, where these 3 women basically are apparently in love with Yugi, even though that Taya is the one who's been in love with him the whole time. Now, I'll get to Vivian and Rebecca a little bit. Rebecca I'll get to in a little bit. Vivian I'll get to when I get a chance to do part 5, because that's what season she first shows up in. Now, in the first episode, you pretty much have the introduction to the Duel Monsters card game, which is based upon a real-life card game, and I own cards of this thing. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. Get it. Let's see. You know what? Not there. Here we go. In this card box is basically my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection. Some, of course, are the real deal. Others not really that real. Let's see. What's a good example? These are the bogus ones I got. I got these for what I did. Let's see. No, these are not the right ones. Yeah, and this box actually contains some cards I actually got. I thought they were the real deal. Apparently they're not the real Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They're kind of like bogus-ish. But yeah. Yeah, I think they might be the real ones. But it's not the normal deck I use, but these are what these cards look like. Yeah. Let me dig out the actual cards. Look how old this thing is. I keep it under my bed. Alright. Let's show some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, just to show how much of a Yu-Gi-Oh fan I am. Sword Stalker. Yep, that's a good one right there. Card basically Kaiba was never used in the show. And I do own, but I'm not going to show off my entire deck. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show off a few cards that were shown off in the show. Here's one. Bandit Keith used this card in the show. Yeah, he used it during Duelist Kingdom. Let's see. I believe, yeah, Yugi used this card here. Let's see here if I can find it here. Two more cards that are in Yugi's deck. Celtic Guardian, Mystic Elf. But I do have, I'm not going to show up the entire thing, I'm just going to show up a few cards basically that we've seen in the show. I'm trying to find them here. Where are you? I haven't used this deck in a while. Let's see. Where is that one? I just saw it. Here we go. Two more cards Yugi has he used in the first season of the show. Guy the Fierce Knight and Curse of Dragon. Yep. Oh, Joey used this card a lot though in the actual card game. It's a fusion monster, while in the show it's just a regular monster. Let's see here. Oh, Lord of Dragon. I'm looking for that one. Let's see. Here we go. Two of the most powerful cards in the show, and these two cards make frequent appearances throughout the course of the 5-season show. The Blue Eyes White Dragon. No, this is actually sort of a different version they use in the show. Yeah, the picture on the show is actually different than this one. And the other one is my personal favorite cards, and Yugi's card that he uses in all 5 seasons, the Dark Magician. A card he basically treasures all his entire deck. And despite the fact the other monsters in this deck don't usually get used that much, Dark Magician is probably the most frequent monster he uses in pretty much almost every single duel he does. Excuse me. Yeah. That is simply put what happens to him in the show. Yep. Now, in the first episode, they use the character Exodia, which Yugi only uses once, and then, like 2 episodes later, the cards are thrown in the ocean by a character introduced in episode 2, Weave Wonderwood. Now, they also introduced in the first episode not only the 4 main characters, but also Seto Kaiba, and of course Yugi's grandfather, Mr. Kaiba, Mr. Moto. I think his name is Salomoto, and he also has freaking problems with his back throughout this whole entire series. It's a recurring gag that he basically, because he's old, so yeah, let's just give him a back problem. Let's have him break his back for no apparent reason. Onkai, the third Tazakage, yeah, that was a recurring gag with him as well, the fact that he kept breaking his back. So, I don't know, maybe Naruto basically borrowed the element, or vice versa, I'm not really sure. But yeah, basically, Kaiba kidnaps Salomoto because he has a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Oh, in the show, apparently there's only 4 Blue Eyes White Dragon in the whole show. Kaiba owns 3 of them. The 4th one is owned by Salomoto, which, after, of course, Kaiba defeats him off screen, he tears up the card. The card itself never appears again in the show until, like, I think it was like until the arc that comes right after, until the immediate arc right after Duelist Kingdom. Yeah. So Yugi takes on Seto Kaiba with his grandfather's deck, which basically becomes his default deck of the rest of the season. Though I think he does keep some of the cards in the deck in his deck. He does make up in a deck he uses for pretty much the rest of the series. So he just battles various monsters, go back and forth. Now, he does summon all 3 Blue Eyes. Now, basically, I should point out the rules of the card game actually do change starting with Season 2. Where in the first season, you can summon whatever monster you want to. They'll start with the second season, they have to use a sacrifice rule where lower level monsters had to be sacrificed in order to summon higher level ones. Yeah, and I think that's a rule pretty much people use in real life. I like using that one a lot better than the rules they use in like GX or 5Ds or the other ones. I'm more used to the original rules. Also, because for time constraints, now in the show later on, now originally in the first season, there's only 2,000 life points. Starting with the 3rd season, actually with the 2nd season up into the final one, as a matter of fact, the follow-up shows do this a lot, except for the films. They start off with the start of the 2nd season, start with 4,000 life points, and the duels last a little bit longer. The reason why it was had 2,000 life points because a lot of the duels were just one and done in one episode. Yeah. Oh, and Kaiba looks completely different than he does later on, where his skin's like darker, and then after Yugi defeats him, of course they show up in the Millennium Puzzle, they show flashbacks of Yugi putting the puzzle together, and of course, apparently, they show us in flashbacks later on that Tristan and Joe used to be bullies. Used to bully Yugi, and then of course Yugi protected him from an actual bully, and of course the guy got expelled for it. Now here's kind of the weird thing about that particular bully. That guy does show up for some reason in 5Ds and becomes an Officer Trudge. Yeah, it's the same guy. I'm not kidding. If you look at him, apparently his name is Trudge. Yeah, his name is Trudge, and from what I can tell, it's the same exact character from the flashbacks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows up in 5Ds. I am not kidding about this. If you look it up, it's completely true. Either that or he could be a distant relative of his because it takes place in the future. So, Yugi beats Kaiba, and this becomes like and this episode gets referenced frequently throughout the rest of the series. Mainly in the first season, though they do reference it a lot later on, of Yugi beating Kaiba with Exodia, though Exodia gets taken a couple of years later. Then Yugi has, in next episode, episode 2, he has his first battle with Max and Pegasus. A battle that doesn't really conclude, it just sort of abruptly ends, and he has sort of like a trip to the Shadow Realm. And of course, because, well, they never finished their duel, Pegasus runs away. Now, Pegasus gives Yugi, because what happened in the previous episode, he gives Yugi a videotape plus a glove and 2 star chips, which those become a recurring thing for the rest of the season. Now, the dual glove itself will be a glove that Yugi would wear from episode 3 up until episode 40. He wear this glove frequently. Joey himself will get himself a glove. Yeah. Though he starts out with 2 star chips, though in the next episode he gives one of them in order to participate in the tournament. Though apparently the winner of the tournament gets a big prize money. And of course, as I also found out, I think in this episode, the next one, that Joey's sister needs eye surgery. Apparently she's got bad eyesight. Also, for some reason, their parents divorced. Though in the manga, I should point this out though, Joey's father is an abusive drunk. Is basically a drunk, and he's kind of abusive toward him. And in the show, they never show his father at all. They show his mother a couple times in the show, but his father has never seen the show. And a lot of time when Joey is seen, he's living by himself. And this is the guy who's supposed to be in high school, and he lives by himself. It is one of the most bizarre things the series does. And so he sort of gets on the boat next episode. But Yugi gives one of the star chips, so at least he because according to Yugi, as long as you have a star chip, you're a duelist. And of course, later he's given a glove. And of course, in episode 3, Yugi meets Weevil Underwood, Rex Raptor, and Mai Valentine. Also in this very episode, because of the fact that they meet Mai, Joey becomes instantly attracted to her, and he's not like blushing every time he sees Mai, because of course Mai herself is drop dead gorgeous. I should point out though, in the 4Kids dub, because this is 4Kids, the actors who voice her would later on also pretty much around the same time would voice Rankiku from Bleach. It's the same exact voice actress. As a matter of fact, they're a lot alike. They show off a lot of cleavage, though her hair is kind of blonde-ish. And another big difference is that Rankiku is supposed to be a little bit older than Mai. Though Mai is basically supposed to be around the same age everyone else is. Weevil Underwood, apparently, for some reason in the manga, they refer to him as a detective for some reason. I have no idea why. No, Weevil and Rex are introduced in the previous episode. Weevil beats Rex. And as far as I know, these two never fight each other as this series. They're basically kind of like a comedy duo for pretty much the rest of the series, though. They never interact with each other. After this episode, they'll interact with each other again until the start of Season 4. Okay. So yeah, they get Duelist Kingdom, and because Yugi won't want to get revenge against Weevil. Now, in the 4Kids version, the episodes 4 and 5 were basically edited together into one half-hour episode. It was the first 2 part of the series, just Yugi versus Weevil. Good duel. Next duel is basically Joey versus Mai, which that's done in 1 episode. And then, of course, it's Yugi versus Mako Tsunami. Of course, 4Kids did a little bit of changes here with how Direction of Cloud, stuff like that. After this duel, then it's, I believe it's, I'm trying to remember, I think next one after this one, after Yugi beats Mako Tsunami, gets some of the star chips. Joy battles Rex. Takes 2 episodes to beat him. Gets not only his starships, but also his Red Eyes Black Dragon, because it's his most powerful card. He also gets the Dragon Nails card for some reason. Yeah, even though it's not specifically saying in their deal, is that the winner gets not only the starships, but whatever monsters on the field. Apparently, they included the Dragon Nails because Joey keeps that card, keep that magic card throughout the rest of the series. And of course, like right after this, we have a 2-parter which involves Bakura, who have been popping up now and again prior to this. Bakura is actually a classmate of theirs who did pop up in the pilot episode, but he's been popping up like now and again. Oh yeah, and it's also revealed that he has a Millennium item like Yugi and Pegasus. Pegasus has a Millennium Eye. Yugi is a puzzle, which basically upside down pyramid. Bakura's Millennium item is the Millennium Ring, which looks like a Dreamcatcher. I'm not kidding, it looks like a Dreamcatcher. I'm not really sure why it looks like a Dreamcatcher, but it does. The other Millennium items are a Millennium Scale, which is never used in the show. There's a Millennium Key, which Shadi uses. Of course, his backstory is explained in the last one that came out. There's also the Millennium Rod and Millennium Necklace, 2 items that show up in the next season of the show. And there's like 7 overall. I don't remember what the other ones were. But they're all really interesting Millennium items for what they are. And so Yugi fights Bakura, and for some reason, I have no idea why this is. Everybody's souls get transferred to about everybody's like friends' cards. Like Joey takes over Flame Swordsman. Tay takes over a card apparently from I think it's like Mystic Elf. I think it is. Tristan takes over like some kind of course, Yugi becomes the Dark Magician, obviously, the actual one, of course. Also, throughout the first season, basically a Tam is referred to as basically either Yama Yugi or Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not revealed until the next season. He's actually the spirit. He's actually a pharaoh. Basically, he gets more explained in the next season. Basically, he's just there. Of course, his backstory gets explained throughout the whole course of the show. His name is not revealed until the final season of the show, which is a Tam. That's his name. That's not revealed to the final season of the show. I'll get to that one in part 5. Yugi beats Bakura. Very interesting. And of course, sort of, Bakura gets sort of like sent to the Shadow Realm, even though he gets somehow out. Yeah, he does not get explanation either. Basically, the thing with Bakura is that the evil spirit Millennium Ring. Yeah, he's just like the Pharaoh. Basically, the deal with him is not revealed until the final season of the show. Yeah, he's just a plot thread that basically the show sits on for like most of the show into the final season. And then of course Yugi takes on Panic, which like all 4Kids, second time I've done this, where they took on Panic. Now originally this era was a 2-parter, which was edited down to a single episode. It's a great duel. Apparently Panic is actually first of like a few eliminators basically. Excuse me, who are hired by Pegasus to take out duelists. And he also has dual gloves, like the rest of the duelists do. He has 2, and it has like 2 rows in it, so he can have instead of 10 star chips in each glove, he can have as much as 20. And so Yugi battles Panic, and it's a really good duel. It's probably one of the best duels at this point in the series. So he beats Panic. Panic apparently gets burned to death. That's what it looks like, because apparently Yugi, because he tries to. Because he loses, so he tries to sort of kill Yugi. That's what is implied, even though 4Kids that doesn't really say it. But basically, Panic gets burned to death. Yeah, he gets burned to death. And then right after this, we have the whole thing with Mokuba, which apparently he was kidnapped off screen. Yeah, how he was kidnapped, yeah, that's never explained. He's just, oh yeah, he's in the castle, and he gets out, steals some kid's star chips and a deck of cards. Yugi briefly battles him. Of course, he loses, and of course, they take on sort of the spirit of Kaiba, even though it's not really him. Kaiba himself basically does make an epic turn. Wearing an outfit he only wears just for this season, but starting with next season, he wears the outfit similar to Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, and this is one of my favorite duels the whole series. It's kind of a rematch from the pilot. And this duel happens over the course of 3 episodes. Now, it starts kind of at the end of part 1, and it continues. And this actually is the first 3-part of the series. So Yugi battles this guy, and of course Kaiba is like trying to hack into Industrial Illusions company. Yugi destroys one of them, one of the Blue Eyes Red Dragon easily. Second one is destroyed by Kaiba via a virus of all things. And the third one is destroyed one of the most unusual way possible. Yugi uses Monster Reborn to bring back the the first Blue Eyes White Dragon. Uses the power from Mystic Elf, who basically has been chanting a spell for the whole duel. Yeah, I don't really know why yet. And they give it a book of spells. Basically, his attack points go from 3 to 4,000 and eliminates the last dragon. And the fake Kaiba loses and he's sent back to Shadow Realm. Of course, this guy is never seen again. As for what the heck this guy is, the show doesn't bother to explain. Nope. And of course, right after this, I'm trying to think, what happened next? I don't think Kaiba came immediately next to the island. No. Trying to remember. Might have been Kaiba. Trying to think though. I think Kaiba did come later, like right after this. Of course, Yugi gave back his deck, even though he has tons of cards. But he gave back his main deck. And Joey tries to duel him. Though he puts up a pitiful effort. Though in Season 3, he does a lot better. And he loses. And of course, later on, they go to this cave. Of course, Joey got kidnapped. Of course, he dropped his wallet. Oh, apparently, his wallet doesn't carry any cash in it. For some reason. I have no idea why. It just doesn't for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah. So, and of course, they spend the next couple episodes dueling inside this, like, graveyard thing. And this lasts for a couple episodes, and it's a pretty interesting duel. Of course, these three guys, basically Bandit Keith's henchmen, do come back in Season 2 for one episode. I'll get to that in the next part. Joy beats them. And they get trapped in the cave. And of course, we get to the second part of the series, and one of my personal favorite duels, and the first ever tag team duel of the series, when Yugi and Joey to team up to take on the Paradox Brothers, and their main monster is the Gate Guardian, which, by the way, is a monster that's made up of 3 monsters, and its attack power is 3,700 attack points. And of course, we also had the first, and this is of course the first a couple times that the Gate Guardian shows up, and the first a couple times that this combo monster shows up. Of course, there's also Guide the Dragon Champion that shows up in one episode. Of course, that monster does come back. It came back a few times, of course, this run. They have Yugi and Joey. They have Black. I think it's like Summit Skull and Black Skull Dragon. Now, Summit Skull appeared a few times prior to this. Of course, the Red Eyes Black Dragon appeared a couple times. Yugi uses a fusion, and these two monsters become the Red Eyes, the Black Skull Dragon, with attack power of 3,200. Although they use Joe uses Dragon Nails to bring it up to, I think it's supposed to be about 800 attack points. So it brings it to about 4,000. And of course, they had this little strategy. This is a big maze, and they had to, of course, walk through this whole thing. They lose one or two monsters along the way, and of course, they get to the Gate Guardian, and they use like Monster Switch, and of course, they destroy the monster, and they get the last of the star chips. Then they have to go through these 2 doors, and of course, I mentioned part 1. They get out of there, and then of course, Yugi has his sort of big rematch against Kaiba in another 3-parter. A duel he's forced to lose. And it's probably one of the most, and sets up something that Kaiba does do advancement in Mark II, the Duel Disc, which in this season, one second time it's used one more time in the arc that comes right after this one, though not there's a standoff between this one and the next one. There's apparently the way the thing works, you put like your duel like in your wrist, and whenever you summon a monster, you have to throw this thing like a frisbee. Yeah. And of course, we also in this 3-parter is known for the introduction of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Basically, the 3 dragons combined to 1. Yep. Of course, Yugi can't beat it because he's forced to lose. He's forced to lose because Kaiba had to force to duel him because he wanted to give back his brother's soul, which was trapped in his soul card. Salamoto basically had the same thing happen in episode 2. Excuse me. And then right after this, we have Yugi. After, of course, Yugi goes and becomes depressed. And then, like, right after this, basically, we have sort of a brief duel between Mai and Taya. And, of course, Taya basically wins by Mai forfeiting after, basically, Taya beats her Harpies. And of course, that's how she lost her first duel. I'm like, how in the world can you lose by beating 3 monsters at once? I'm like, they're monsters that powerful? Yeah. Gets the 5 extra star chips. Yugi basically recovers, and they all go in the castle. It's like, you have Yugi, Joey, and Mai show off their star chips. Like, yep, we can go in. And of course, they had to, and Tristan, Bakura, and Taya had to sort of sneak into the castle. Yeah. And then, like, in that very same episode, we have, this was promoted basically on TV as Creator versus Champion. It's a great title. It's actually a great duel, though Kaiba loses and he gets trapped in a soul card. And then we have, like, right after this, a standalone episode, which kind of sets up the playoff episodes, which is a series of 3 two-parters in a row. We have Yugi versus Mai, a great two-parter, which we have the first of 2 appearances of one of my favorite monsters in the whole game, the Black Luster Soldier, and of course we all see the first appearance of Harpy's Pet Dragon, which of course this particular monster destroys Harpy's Pet Dragon, and to prevent her Harpies being destroyed, she forfeits the duel by putting her hand on top of her deck. Apparently wins by forfeit. It was a pretty good duel, and then like next one was a really awesome duel between Joey and Bandit Keith, which in the dub, they refer to him as the United States as the Intercontinental Champion. Though apparently in the sub, I heard that originally in the Japanese version, referred to as the United States Champion. Don't know how. Kaiba was the World Champion. Yeah, maybe have the same titles that wrestling do. So these 2 guys fight for 2 episodes. Joey beats him. Bandit Keith drops in the hole. Never seen again until the start of season 2. Though I'll get to that in a minute. Then we have an awesome 2-part between Joey and Yugi, which ends with Yugi beating Joey. Not like brutally per se, but it's a really good duel. And then we have a arc that lasts for 4 episodes plus an epilogue, which I remember in the show they promoted this as Match of the Millennium, Yugi versus Pegasus. A duel that took exactly 4 episodes, which was the first 4-part in the whole series. And this lasts for a good while. It's actually it's probably one of the best duels the whole series overall. Of course, Yugi beats Pegasus. Pegasus appears. He doesn't appear again in the show until season 4. Though he does also pop up in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX several times. You have the episode comes right after this to be an epilogue with them getting off the island, which this leads into 2-part Wrath of Rebecca, where Yugi battles Rebecca, wins. And then we have one of my favorite arcs of the series, the Virtual Reality arc, which is a 3-parter, which they go into virtual reality to rescue Kai. And of course, at the end of that particular duel, the 3 souls are released. Everybody goes back normal. Kaiba takes Moko home in his helicopter. They all go home. Solomoto gets released from the hospital. He's apparently been in the hospital since the start of the season. They battle Rebecca, stuff like that, and of course the virtual reality thing. And of course that's when they run into Mai again. Though Mai basically previously appeared, though she didn't duel. She gave Joey her card, basically like a money thing. Yeah, it's really weird. Oh yeah, we friends now? Yeah, we're friends. Despite the fact she kind of knows that Joey's attracted to him, attracted to her, she knows that. She just kind of thinks that's cute, but this never really brought up again. Of course, Mai doesn't return again. As her virtual reality, she shows up again next season. She shows up seasons 2, 3, and 4, and she shows up in the final season. And of course, apparently, this is also this 3-part that you actually get a chance to see in person, because previously they showed the Big 5, which are the board directors of Kaiba Corp, and they showed the guys in person, and they look kind of weird. They don't give these guys backstories until season 3 when they come back. They go through this virtual reality thing. It's probably my favorite arc of the whole entire of the 3 mini arcs that I kind of have to do. This is my favorite one because it's like Yugi, Joey, and Mai basically going on a rampage with this whole thing to rescue Kaiba, and of course Kaiba win. They get Kaiba out, and of course Mai apparently was brought there to be a beta tester for this thing. Of course, this virtual thing does get a follow-up in season 3, though it's a lot bigger arc. And in the close of this season, we have the 4-part Dungeon Dice Monsters. So the first part has nothing to do with Dungeon Dice Monsters at all. It just introduces Duke Devlin, who just got back in season 2. They just have him fight Joey. He loses, gets to wear a dog suit for like a week. Then they have a 3-parter. Next 3 episodes is basically Yugi versus Duke. King of Games versus creator Dungeons and Dice Monsters. Really interesting duel. They do use monsters from this particular thing in season 3. Duke himself doesn't do it again until season 3. Yugi beats him. Joey gets out of the dog suit. They do reference this thing later on. It's great. Also, at the end of when they get home, they actually give the doctors a check for his sister's surgery. I think her sister's name is Serenity. Beautiful girl. And here's the thing. Mai is actually her idol. They revealed this in season 2. They get a little more. She becomes more interesting of a character in season 2. Yep, they make her a regular character in the show. Starting in season 2 and season 3. Notice she's referenced a couple times in the next couple seasons. But yeah, this season is a great season for the show. So that's really it. Next season is the basically the season that basically is the season where they change the opening theme and more characters get introduced. Okay? Until I see you on part 2, I'll talk about season 2. See you there. Bye.